Jetzt machen wir weiter mit dem Content Marketing Cluster hier, was sozusagen OMR zusammen kuratiert hat. Jetzt die nächsten 3 Talks zusammen mit dem Content Marketing Forum. Das Content Marketing Forum, wer es nicht kennt, ist mit mehr als 100 Mitgliedsagenturen und Verlagen der größte Verband für Content Marketing in Europa. Das ist sozusagen der FC Bayern des Content Marketings. Und ja, die haben uns ein paar Leute geschickt sozusagen, auf die wir uns jetzt ganz besonders freuen. Der nächste Talk ist in Englisch. Auf Englisch muss es heißen, Entschuldigung. Und deswegen werde ich jetzt auch kurz den Speaker auf Englisch ankündigen. I think it's safe to say that everyone has a goal in life, but not every one of us, including me, knows how to reach all these important goals. But Joe Pulizzi, founder of the Content Marketing Institute, is talking now about the 3 R's. He developed a program about 3 R's: record, repeat, remove. And these 3 R's helped him not only to start several companies, not only to be successful with these companies, but also to sell them. So please clap your hands for Joe Pulizzi. Here you go. Hi, Joe.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Nice to have you here.
Excellent.
The stage is yours.
Thank
if you
you
need something to eat, to drink, just turn around. We have
this
bananas.
is fantastic.
Whatever you
I
need.
didn't eat breakfast, so this is wonderful. How's everyone doing? All right. It's great to see everyone. It's great to be in Germany. I love coming back to Germany. And thanks to my friends at Content Marketing Forum. They've been great partners with the Content Marketing Institute for years. And I'll be at their booth at 4 o'clock today to talk to many of you. So thank you so much. This presentation, I'm going to talk about marketing, but this presentation hopefully is for you and what you want to accomplish. And what I want you to start off with today is think about what you want to accomplish and where you want to be 5 years from right now. Do you want a better job? Do you want to date somebody in particular? Do you want to do something with your life? What is that? So think about that right now, where you want to be. Now, if I go back a dozen years, I didn't have a goal-setting formula for when I started the business. So I worked at an executive level position in a large media company, but my dream was to always start a business. So in 2007, decided to start a business and leave this executive job. Had 2 small kids at the time, didn't have a lot of money, but that's what we wanted to do. So I said, okay, I'm going to start this business. And we started a matching service for content marketing. Do you have Tinder here or eHarmony? It's terrible metaphor, but like eHarmony or Tinder for content marketing. So we were matching up brands with media agencies and publishers and try to get them to match up to do content marketing. So we started that, and it was going okay, but in 2009, the business wasn't working out well. We were losing a lot of money, and I was starting to get really nervous about the business, and we needed money fast. We needed to do something quickly. So in the fall of 2009, I'm like, we need to get as much business as we can as possible. So I called one of our best customers at the time that paid for the most recent year, but they hadn't re-upped. They hadn't re-signed with the business that we launched. So I said, well, I better give her a call. So I called her up on the phone, and I said, I won't mention her name, but I said, hey, something's wrong. You didn't re-sign up in the service. This was our absolute best customer where we delivered multiple $million-dollar project to them, and so I was curious why she didn't sign up. And I said, so, is there a problem? And she said, no, we're deciding not to sign up this year. And I said, is there a reason why? And she said, well, we're going to get better return on investment somewhere else. And I said, how is that possible? It's like, we just delivered you 1,000% return on investment. You're not going to re-up in the system. And she said, no, we're not going to do it, Joe. I'm sorry. Hung up the phone, and that was it. And of course, I felt like a horrible failure. I'm like, I can't even re-sign the best customer that we have into the system. I just wasted 2 years of my life. I let down my wife. I let down my kids. This is horrible. So I went out. Got off the phone, went out in the backyard, felt sorry for myself. And actually, in the next 2 weeks, I started to look for a job. I said, okay, obviously this entrepreneurial thing isn't for me. What am I going to do? I'm a complete failure. And then I took a little bit of time And whether you call it the 3 R's or the 3 R's, I came up with a goal-setting formula that really worked for me. And as I work with a lot of other people, it's really working for them as well. So you can use this in your personal life as well as in marketing, and I'll go through that in a second. But I went through this new goal-setting formula, and in 2010, we launched Content Marketing Institute, and our goal was to become the leading online destination for content marketing, to create the leading print magazine for content marketing in the world, and to create the largest in-person event for content marketing. So that was the goal in 2010. And in 2000, and then later in that year, we said, okay, let's create the event. And if you see that little picture there, that was the hall that we reserved for 100 people to come to the first Content Marketing World in 2011. And luckily, later that year, we ended up getting over 600, and that event grew to the size of, almost to the size of this event here today. By 2013, we accomplished all those goals. We became the leading online destination. We became the largest event. And in 2016, my wife and I were lucky enough to sell that business. And in 2018, I took the entire year off. It was a fantastic year in 2018, and I'm just getting back into the groove of speaking here in 2019. But here's the goal-setting formula that I want you to take with you that I used to reach my goals, and I still use these today. And every morning I use these as I go through them. So it's record, repeat, remove. And I'm going to go through each of these separately so that you can take these with you and unpack them. Record. So this is what you want to start with. What I want you to do is, what are your desires? And I want you to write those down. Physically write them down. Not type them on your smartphone. Physically write those down on a piece of paper. And what I found is that less than 10% of all people in the world actually write down their goals. Now think about that. What if we were to do that? Let's say you were going to build a house and you didn't have an architect to plan that. This is what we're doing with our lives. We're basically getting the contractors, the electrician, the roofer, the plumbing person, the heating and air conditioning person together, and we're getting them all in a huddle, and we're saying, go figure it out, go build the house. And that's what we're doing with our lives, because we don't have a plan, and we don't look at that plan and write that plan down. Here's a wonderful case study that I love. This is Bruce Lee, maybe the most popular martial arts superstar ever. In 1970, he was not known at all, and he wrote down his goals, and he calls them my definite chief aim, if you ever want to look it up. But he basically said, I want to get $10 million, I want to be the most popular martial artist superstar in the world. Wrote it down then, and before he passed away, about 10 years later, he accomplished every one of his goals. But he had written it down and looked at that. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to write your goals down in whatever they are, and we'll go through the different categories in a second. But it's really important to write those down. So the most successful people that I run into, I don't know how it is for you, they actually write down their goals. So let me give you an example of how to break this down. So this is one of my goals. At the beginning of 2018, I wanted to write my first fiction novel. So here's a simple goal, right? I finished my novel. I want to write it that I've already accomplished it. I finished my novel. Well, that's very overwhelming. It's like, wow, it's 100,000 words. How do I do that? How do I get from point A to point B? We want to create a habit out of that goal. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend that goal and say, I finished my first novel by writing 1 hour per day. And that's the habit. So we want to make sure we write that down. So when you think about your goal, I want you to think about the big goal and then what you have to do every day to create the habit to accomplish that goal. All right, so obviously this is a marketing conference, so let's make this relevant to marketing. So I'm involved in content marketing, and to be successful in content marketing, you have to start with a mission statement, what we would call a content mission statement. There are 2 reasons why content marketing programs fail. The first reason is because people create content that it's not differentiated. It's not anything different than any other competitors doing, than anything else that's out there. So what you want to create in your marketing, specifically your content marketing, is figure out what is my mission statement and what do I want my customers, my audience to learn? How can I help them with their lives? How can I help them get better jobs and live better lives? And write down a mission statement for that. So any marketing strategy always starts with writing down what we want to accomplish. Not that we want to sell more stuff, but what we want to help our audience accomplish. Okay, that's record. First step, document your desires. Second step, we're going to repeat. So record and repeat. So what we're going to do, and I know I'm asking a lot, I'm asking for 15 minutes of your day to be spent on reviewing your goals. What I want you to do is I want you to get up in the morning. The first thing you do in the morning is review that goal. And before you go to bed at night, go to sleep at night, then I want you to review that goal again so that you're thinking about that, you're dreaming about that. That's less than 1% of your entire day just to review the plan. In 2009, the European Journal of Psychology got 94 people together, and they wanted to figure out how long does it take to form a habit. So they put these 94 people through, and they figured out that it took 66 days on average to create a habit. So 66 days in a row before it becomes like a natural thing. You're getting up in the morning, and you're absolutely going to do that. By the way, the average it was between 18 days and 254 days for all the participants, but 66 days was the average of that. Now, I want you to, that's really, really important, because what we want to do is want to get up in the morning every day, and we want this to be automatic, and we're getting up and we're reviewing this automatically. So let me ask you a question. How many people got up this morning before you came here and you looked at your email or your social media? Anybody? Okay, almost all of you. What if instead of looking at your email or your social media, you actually reviewed your desire first, your goal first? That's the first thing you did. Because what happens is we get up in the morning, we're attached to our smartphone, to our email, and we get sucked in, right? That's what we start looking at. And we start going a different direction than we should be going, and we're not following. What if you actually looked at what you wanted to accomplish in your goal in the morning? Maybe you wouldn't look at your email. Maybe you wouldn't look at social media. And there's actually a lot of research out there that says we don't want to look at any social media or email for the first 3 hours. I know that's hard to do. I know we're at an online marketing conference. But I want you to think about that so we can accomplish the really important things first thing. And that's what I had to do. I got up every day and I said, okay, I want to finish my novel. So I want to get up and I want to review that. I want to finish my novel. I've got to write 1 hour today to make this thing work. So let's look at marketing. How does this relate to our marketing plan? So I said that there's 2 reasons why content marketing fails. One is most companies don't talk about anything that's differentiated or valuable to their audience. The second thing is they don't deliver consistently. I see this across the board. They're creating content on Twitter and Facebook and their blog and their website, and they're doing events and they're doing all kinds of things, but they don't do it consistently. So if you think about it, I know that specifically with e-newsletters, I know a lot of companies and a lot of individuals that create an e-newsletter, but they just send it out whenever they can get to it. And if whoever's responsible for the e-newsletter doesn't come in that day, it doesn't go out. But in order to be successful, we want to deliver consistently, just like we need to review our goals consistently every day. So if we look at, I talked about this in my last book, Content Inc., we looked at all successful content marketers out there, and we said, how long does it take for them to go from start to successful with content marketing? And the number was 12 to 18 months. So it's not a quick fix. It takes consistency of delivery over a long period of time. All right. Okay. So we record, we write down our desires, we review those in the morning and before we go to sleep at night, and now we want to remove. And what does that mean? In order to make this successful and work for you, you've got to remove all the clutter that's stopping you from accomplishing your goal. And there's a lot of it out there, right? So we actually have to figure out what's stopping us from accomplishing these goals. If you know these 2 gentlemen, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, 2 of the most successful, powerful people in the world, in 1991, they didn't know each other, and Bill Gates was going to meet Warren Buffett, and Bill Gates is really, really nervous. And Meg Greenfield, who's the editor of the Washington Post, got them together. So Bill's really nervous, and Warren Buffett's sitting next to him. And Meg Greenfield, she started the interview with, all I want you to do, Bill and Warren, is write down the most important word for success that you can think of. And so they wrote their word down, and they put it aside. And then they showed each other, and they actually wrote the exact same word, focus. Focus is the most important thing to those two gentlemen to accomplishing their goals. So let me give you an example of focus. Did you know that the average American and German spends over 3 hours a day watching television? So I don't know if you think that's a lot or a little, but 3 hours a day watching television. So let's say we live to be 80 years old. You know, that's 10 years of life. That's 10, and I'm not saying it's wasted, because there's a lot of good programming out there, but 10 years is a lot. So maybe something like that, maybe spending too much time on social media or watching too much television or doing things that we're not supposed to do are stopping us from accomplishing our goals and doing really, really good things. And what we want to do is be focused like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and remove that clutter that's in front of us. Okay, what about marketing? How does it relate to marketing? I talk to a lot of companies, and what we find is when we go in and we'll do a content audit is they want to be everywhere. They feel they have to create content on every channel. We've got to be on Twitter, we've got to be on Instagram, we've got to be blogging, we've got to be doing everything. And actually, that's not what we want to do. We don't want to be everywhere. What we want to do is be really good or be great at a few things so that we can build an audience. So what we need to do is we need to choose. So what I want you to do is go back when you get in your marketing meeting and say, maybe we shouldn't be doing all these things out there mediocre. Maybe we should take some of those resources and be great and be excellent at one or two things. So we've got to start choosing. We've got to be focused on what we can do really, really well. Record, repeat, remove. Those are the three. Okay, so here's what I would like you to do. If this at all resonated with you as a goal-setting process, what we then do is we break our goals down, and these are really for personal goals. We want to break them down into different categories, and there's 6 categories, and I'm going to quickly go through them. So the first one is career wealth. Career wealth category. So you write down, you take a piece of real paper and a pen or a pencil and write it down, career wealth at the top. And I'll give you an example of my goals as I was going through some of this process. So I had a career goal that I wanted to write a book. So this is, in 2016 I wrote, I want to finish my 5th book before December 2017, which I ended up doing. But I wanted to make sure I got up in the morning, every morning, to review that and say, okay, I've got to finish my book by the end of the year. So what is that career wealth goal for you that you're going to hit? Okay, second one would be family goals. What's your family goal? One of my family goals is that we do 2 family activities outside the house every week. So that's a goal that I still have today. A spiritual goal, however you define spirituality. So one of my spiritual goals is that I say a prayer with my children every night. That's very important to me. It's very important to my wife. So the next category would be mental goal. I was at a point where I only read business books for a long time, and I realized I've got to expand my thinking a little bit. So I said, okay, one of my goals is going to be I read 1 non-business book per month, and I keep track of that. Physical goal. So whatever your physical goal is, my physical goal is I want to stay in these pants. That's a very important goal for me. So if these pants start feeling tight, I know I've got a problem. I got to work on my goal. And the last one is giving, or a philanthropy goal. So my wife and I, we started a nonprofit called Orange Effect Foundation that helps kids with mostly autism with speech therapy. And so one of our goals is to deliver that amount of money for speech therapy by the end of 2019. So that's my goal that we have for our organization. So as we leave here, and as you think about this the rest of the conference, because there's a long way to go, I want you to think about how Aristotle looked at it. He called it a tabula rasa. It's a clean slate. I know you feel like you have a lot of things weighing you down, you have a lot of things going on in your life, but you can actually do a clean slate today and say, What do I really want to do with my life? What do I really want to accomplish? Whether it's your personal life or whether it's your marketing. So think about what that is. You have an opportunity today. So I want you to think about, first, record. Document your desires. And you've got to figure out what those are. Sometimes it takes weeks to do that. And then once you figure that out, I want you to repeat it. Get up in the morning every day, and I want you to review those goals. And before you go to sleep, I want you to review those goals. Less than 1% of your day to review what you want to accomplish, and then remove. Maybe some people in your life aren't good for you. Maybe there's some activities that are not good for you. I want you to figure out what those are and get rid of them so that you can do whatever you want to do and be whoever you want to be in your life. Thank you very, very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
You got it.
Thanks for coming here on the inspiring talk. I thought it was rinse, lather, repeat. That was in Karate Kid, right?
Well, you can try that.
Yeah.
It might not be
it works
successful,
with
though.
Mr. Miyagi.
Wax on, wax off. Is
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah,
I
the
get
new
you.
Mr. Miyagi.
I get
So maybe I missed it because I was really watching, listening closely because I published a fiction novel like last Thursday, actually, on the 2nd of May. So how is your coming then?
I'm actually finished with it, and I'm in the editing process.
So you're done.
We did accomplish. Thank you. I didn't even mention that. I did accomplish the goal.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you're happy. You're relieved.
I'm happy, but a long way to go yet. You know the editing process. It doesn't happen overnight.
I just wanted to ask you, like, I think that putting it out on the market is even more exhausting than writing it.
Oh, writing the book is probably the smallest part. Marketing the book is what takes all the time. Just like anything else. I mean, you can create content, and your group can create content, but you actually have to market that content and get that out there. And if nobody reads the content, is it even worthwhile creating it?
Yeah, and it would feel like if nobody read the book in the end, it would feel like ripping out the pages again that you worked so hard on. Exactly. Because they're worthless if nobody reads it.
Content is meant to be engaged with, so if nobody engages in it, maybe we should be doing something else.
That's true. So do you have any plans how to get your book out? Is there a strategy? Do you have ideas?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you share that with us?
Once I get that done, yeah. I mean, I've got a whole plan that's going to take probably 6 months. So before I release the book, I'm starting with that almost today, and to get that out there and to build relationships. And really the number one thing is to build my audience so that when I send that out, they already know they want to read my stuff or they're engaged in it, and get that out first thing. So building your own audience is the best thing you can do to publicize anything.
I see. I'm curious how that works out for you. And maybe you're here next year with the best-selling novel, and then doing the talk I always wanted to do, like how to do a best-selling novel.
Well, maybe I'll learn from you since you
we talk backstage.
There you go. Very good.
Thanks very much.
Wonderful.
Have a great day in Hamburg.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.